Members, it's now 4 o'clock, and this is the appointed time for the Panel on Welfare Services 2012 and 13 meeting. May I invite members to take note of Rule 77, bracket 6 of the Rules of Procedure. Oh, I'm sorry. I now formally call to order this meeting, and we will also elect Chairman of the Panel on Welfare Services. Now, may I invite members to take note of Rule 77 of bracket 6, a member who is the chairman or deputy chairman of a government advisory body in respect of matters which a panel considers to be directly related to the terms of reference of the panel shall not be the chairman or deputy chairman of the panel. Bracket 7 says a member shall not be chairman or deputy chairman of more than one panel at the same time. And according to Rule 22 and Appendix 4 of the House Rules, I now invite members to nominate candidates for chairman. One valid nomination must be made by a member verbally and must be seconded verbally by at least one member. And the candidates so nominated must accept the nomination before proceeding with the voting. Any nomination? Ms. Chen Yuen-han. Do you accept, Chen Yuen-han? Yes, I do. Is seconded? Any seconder? Yes, Mr. Tan Yu-chung. Any other nomination? Let's count to 3. Any other nominations? 1, 2, 3. No? No other nominations. All right? So we only have one nomination. So Ms. Chen Yuen-han will return as chairman uncontested. So may I congratulate Ms. Chen Yuen-han. Over to you. Thank you, members. Right, next we have to elect the deputy chairman. I will now proceed with the election of deputy chairman of the Panel on Welfare Services. A valid nomination must be made by one member and seconded by at least one member verbally. All right. And the members, it must be accepted by the members so nominated. Nominations, please. I nominate Mr. Chan Kok-chi. Any seconder? Yes, Mr. Allen Leung. Mr. Chan, do you agree? I accept. Right, thank you. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, I'll follow Mr. Leung Yu-chung's practice. 1, 2, 3. No other nominations? Well, congratulations, Mr. Chan Kok-chi. You're deputy chairman of the panel. Would you like to come up? Please come up. All right. Let's move on to schedule of meetings. Now, the Secretariat has prepared a schedule of meetings for various panels of this Council. And for us, our schedule is every second Tuesday of every month. Sorry, every second Monday of every month, 10:45. Views from members? Monday, 10:45 a.m. If there are no other views, let's follow this schedule. Dr. Fernando Zhang, second Monday of every month, 10:45 a.m. Secretariat? No. the last term, we also used the same time slot for this panel. If there are no other views from members, we will follow this arrangement. Okay. I'm going to talk about the meeting schedule for February next year and April. The different panels are looking for time slots, so we have some suggestions from the Secretariat. Now, for the meeting in February 2013, the second Monday is a public holiday, so I will have to choose between this slot, and that's 8:30, 18th of February 2013, or Tuesday morning 10:45, the 19th of February 2013. So let's talk about the meeting in February. I suggest 10:45 a.m. Tuesday morning, 19th of February 2013, because 8:30 seems a bit too early. Any objection? If not, then that will be the meeting scheduled. Okay, let's come to April. The special FC meetings will be held between the 8th of April and the 12th of April 2013. So I'll have to choose among the following three dates. One is the 5th of April, 10:45 a.m. Friday, or Monday, 15th of April, 4:30 p.m., or 16th of April, Tuesday, 10:45 a.m. So please pick one among these three dates. Perhaps let me express my views. Well, if it's scheduled for 10:45 a.m. on Friday the 5th, Mr. Frederick Fong is not available. And I also am worried because we will be inviting deputations to speak. And also 4:30, Monday the 15th, this is more desirable. Next one, 10:45 a.m., 16th, Tuesday morning. It's also desirable, but some members will have to attend these meetings and they will be quite busy. Mr. Zhang Guoqi. Madam Chair, I just learned that the Health Services Panel has taken up the slot on 15th of April. So there'll be a clash, right? So the alternative is 16th, 10:45 a.m., Tuesday. Do we all agree? Okay. We need to set down the schedule. Mr. Feng, you have no objection, right? All right. If there are no other views, then so be it. The 10:45 a.m. on Tuesday, 16th of April 2013, the Secretariat will notify members in due course. And items for discussions at the next meeting. Let's see. Now, if members agree, with the schedule, the next regular meeting will be held on the 12th of November 2012, 10:45 a.m. as set out, as we all agree. All right, if there are no other views, let's talk about when we should discuss this paper, and that is the paper on old age living allowance. Well, I believe the administration would like to have the discussion, and there are also dozens of deputations in the community, and we have been reminded that it should take place before the 26th. The administration would also like to have a discussion about this initiative. So I'd like to ask members So let's decide whether we should meet with the administration and the deputations on the same day. Mr. Eleanor? Thank you, Madam Chair. The Civic Party thinks that the sooner we have the discussion, the better. Public hearing is necessary because, as pointed out by Madam Chair, 46 deputations have already indicated their interest. Oh, sorry, it should be 48. I omitted 2. 48 deputations would like to express their views. The administration at present would like to submit the proposal on the 26th to the Finance Committee. So I'd like to see if we can come up with a time slot with the Secretariat so that deputations, as well as Mr. Matthew Jiang, the Secretary, can be invited to come, and Mrs. Carrie Lam, the Chief Secretary, of course, so that we can do this in one go with the input from deputations. Mr. Fernando Jiang. Madam Chair, this old age living allowance is not a minor initiative. The administration would like to seek funding approval on the 26th, but according to the established practice, there should be a discussion at the panel meetings. And according to the usual procedure, the FC will not have any meeting until November. And yet, because of this initiative, which will benefit the elderly, we wish to have the discussion as soon as possible. But the problem is, it's just 1 week away. I don't see any urgent reason why we need to follow the administration's proposed timetable. We need to have a public hearing. We also need to have ample time to discuss with the administration. With just a week or so, we are asked to complete the whole procedure, and I think it's not practical. So may I suggest that the administration postpone their proposal to submit on the 26th to the FC, and I'd like to hear from members your views, because if we're forced to follow this timetable, it's really unfair to members. Yes, your views are clear, Mr. Lang Yu-chung. Well, it's now changed. Originally it's called the special fruit money. Now it's called the old age living allowance. First of all, I don't know why it's changed, and also, secondly, after the changing of the name, we don't know the details, and the community has not been given the opportunity to discuss this issue. It's about living allowance, but how many years will it last? I think we should have ample discussion. Some political parties have suggested increasing the limit and so on. So you can see that there are already different views. If we hurry things through, we will be accused of not doing our job properly. And there will be consequences, because the LegCo will approve funding for the scheme. And if we are going to make a hasty decision on this important issue, it seems like we will become rubber stamps. We're compelled to approve it. So what's your view? We need to have ample discussion. Do you share Mr. Chang's view? Well, my view is that there is no need to have the meeting in just one day with the administration and with the deputations. And I think the list of deputations will get longer when more deputations apply, and also I think that we have so many members here, so we won't even be able to finish our discussion in just one meeting with the administration. So we should keep an open mind. We should not fix the date on the 26th.
Mr. Long Kwok Hong. Now, I think the effective date of the allowance can be retrospective, and I think there is really no need for CY Leung to pick the effective date with the date of our giving funding approval. I hope that CY Leung will is listening to our discussion. Some elderly persons are saying that they are worried that the effective date may not be retrospective, but I think, Chairman, please tell CY Leung that there should be retrospectivity concerning the effective date. Now, and I want to say that this allowance is in CY Leung's election manifesto. That's item number 1 in his manifesto. So I just want to say that the effective date of this allowance should not be pegged to the date of our giving funding approval. KK Fong. I don't think we can meet the deputations and the administration or at one time, because we will be meeting many deputations, and there may only be half an hour left for discussion with the administration, and as a result there won't be time for us to ask questions. There won't be enough time for the administration to give replies. I myself would like to ask many questions, so I think we should have a meeting with the deputations and then a separate meeting with the administration. Mr. Liam Yu Chung. Now, but when we have public hearings, we also invite the administration to attend so that the administration can listen to the views of the deputations directly. And then we can have another meeting with the administration to ask the administration questions. And I don't think we should say at this stage that the funding proposal should not come on the 26th of October. People may get the impression that we're trying to drag our feet. I think let's look at the progress. And I understand that if we give approval on the 26th of October, then the allowance would take effect from the 1st of October. And then if we give our approval in November, then the effective date would be the 1st of November. I understand that they are subject to certain restrictions. So let's ask the administration this question when we meet them. So, Chairman, let's have two meetings, one with the administration, one with the deputations. Chairman, we will have to meet 48 or more than 48 deputations. So let's fix a date for that hearing today. And then we don't know whether we can finish our discussion before the 26th of October, but of course we'll try our best. So I think we must fix a date for the public hearing today. And if we really can't complete our discussion before the 26th of October, then we can tell the administration that we really can't do it. And so the funding proposal should be postponed. Right? Let's not discuss whether it should be the 26th or not for the time being. So should we meet the administration and the deputations at the same time, on the same day? It seems that members do not agree. So 22nd of October, we will meet the administration. All right? Then we'll have to find another day to meet the deputations, right? Mr. Fernando Zhang, on this issue only. Yes, I agree, Chairman. Two different meetings. And at least one public hearing. But then, Chairman, we already have 48 organizations or groups on the list. And if more sign up, and each deputation speaks for 2 to 3 minutes, then a 2-hour meeting simply won't be enough to hear all the deputations. I think this panel needs to tell the public clearly that it is not dragging its feet. It also wants to have discussions with the administration as soon as possible. But the 26th of October is simply an unrealistic date. And so I have a motion here. Let's deal with this motion later. And I'll ask the clerk to make copies. So we agree that we should have two separate meetings, one of the administration, one for the deputations. So when we have a lot of questions for the administration. So I think even if we don't need 4 hours, we need 3. So let's meet the administration on the 22nd of October, 8:30 to 11:45 a.m. That would mean 1.5 normal meetings. And then we can find another slot to meet the deputations. Now, in fact, the deputations want the administration's team to be present at that meeting. We now have 48 deputations on the list, so a 2-hour meeting is simply not enough. We need 3 to 4 hours. 4 years ago, I was the chairman of the WS panel. The deputations were unhappy because they felt they weren't given sufficient time to give their views. So 22nd of October, a 3-hour meeting with the administration. Now this is a matter of great concern to all Hong Kong people, and so we really need 3 hours. And then we'll find another slot to meet the deputations. Let's not take into account the 26th of October. Deputy Secretary General, or Assistant Secretary General rather. I haven't read Mr. Cheung's motion, but according to 22P of the House rules, now if a member wants to move a motion, then the chairman has to approve it because the motion is directly relevant to the matter being discussed at the meeting. But then today at this meeting we do not have an item on the old age living allowance. So it really depends on the content or the wording of Mr. Cheung's motion. Now if the wording has to do with the date of the next meeting, then no problem. But then on today's agenda there is really nothing about the old age living allowance. Yes, Chairman, I wish to say something. I thank the Secretariat for the reminder. Now, my motion has to deal with item 3 on the agenda, items for discussion at the next meeting. And we in fact intend to discuss the old age living allowance next time, and that's why in fact my motion is relevant. It really depends on the wording of the motion. Now if we have a special meeting on the old age living allowance, and then there is a motion saying that the proposal to FC needs to be postponed, then that would be in order. So I hope that the ASG can give me some advice. I do not want to breach any of the rules. I understand the point that the ASG is trying to make. Today we are not discussing the old age living allowance. And so it will be more appropriate if we move a motion like this one at the next meeting. So, but I've left this council for some time. I'm not familiar with the rules, but I just want to say that I do not want to breach any of the rules in making a ruling. So Mr. Chair, it may be difficult to approve this motion. So what about the motion asking the administration to postpone the item on the 26th? I think members need to look at the agenda for today's meeting. That's most important. Fernando Zhang, don't be so impatient. Wait till the 22nd of October. But this is important. Yes, I understand. Because this has a lot to do with the arrangements for our future meetings. Now, in fact, I also want to do something as soon as possible, and that's why I'm proposing that we should schedule 2 meetings. I understand that the public are very concerned. Should we really have the item going to FC on the 26th? Now, this motion is about asking the administration to postpone the item. I really have some difficulty making a ruling. Mr. Tam Yu-chung said that we needed not make a decision on the 26th so hastily. So he is a very experienced member. I think he understands my difficulty as the chairman. Now, if I am to make a ruling, I really need your support. Now, I know what to do. Next time you can take part in the election and join us. Chairman, I think my motion also incorporates the comment made by Mr. Tam. I'm not excluding that. In other words, I'm just saying that the administration should not rigidly stick to the 26th of October. I am not in my motion saying that the administration must do this or must not do that. We agree that we need to have a public hearing, we need to have a meeting with the administration, and we want to send a clear message to the administration to the effect that it should not rigidly stick to the date of 26th of October. Mr. Leung Yiu-chung, Chairman, I agree that if possible, we should deal with Mr. Zhang's motion. Let me explain. In fact, I had raised my hand before Mr. Zhang put forward his motion. Yes, I understand the chairman. We have a lot of questions. That's why you've set aside 3 hours for the first meeting. But I don't think 3 hours will be enough, as members have many, many questions. And so after the meeting on the 22nd, we may need to have another meeting with the administration. So we will have a meeting on the 22nd, we'll have a public hearing, and then we'll have to follow up on the concerns raised by the deputations with the administration. And that's why we hope that will not be barred from having a third meeting. But then if the date 26th of October can't be changed, then we will at most be able to have 2 meetings, one with the administration, one with the deputations. So I think Mr. Zhang is trying to say that the administration should not stick to the 26th of October. Of course, if we can complete our discussion, then the item can go to FC on the 26th. What if we can't really finish our discussion?
I'd like to hear from members once again before I make a decision. Does anyone object to Dr. Fernando Zhang or Mr. Leung Yiu-chung's suggestions? Mr. Tam Yu-chung, you just come back in. Now, I'd like to say this to you. The Assistant Secretary General has made her comment. Perhaps we should decide on the motion at the next meeting. But in fact, after the next meeting on the 22nd, it's just 4 days away, the 26th. And if we cannot finish the meeting in 3 hours, we should not, our hands should not be bound. I mean, by then we can ask for postponement beyond 26. But then there could be a confusion. People might have the impression that we're trying to stall matters. Now, I haven't made my final ruling. I'd like to seek members' views again. I think there is a grey area. Assistant SG said that a decision should be made at the next meeting when this item is discussed. But I see a very prominent grey area here. So this is what I have in mind. If we decide to wait until the next meeting, there could be room for confusion. So I'd like to seek members' views. Mr. Alan Leung. Madam Chair, how about we do things flexibly? Members who are present, they may come from different political parties, but they may also express their views on Dr. Fernando Cheung's motion. Well, of course, it may be subject to challenge, but if we actually agree to the wording of the motion, then no matter whether Chairman's decision will be challenged, we will have made our stance clear. I think that this is more flexible. This will also ease the doubts of Chairman. No, Mr. Alan Leung, you failed to do that. Mr. Leung Kwok-hong, let's add a few more words. Now, this is the panel's view on the item to be discussed at the next meeting. Let's insert these few words in front of the motion so that this item will be discussed at the next meeting. Because if you add these few words, problem will be solved. Okay, please repeat. Let's insert before the motion. This panel's views on the item to be discussed at the next meeting are as follows. All right, Mr. Tan Yu-chung. Madam Chair, according to my practice, we should look at the agenda. The agenda says election of chairman and deputy chairman, schedule of meeting, and items for discussion at the next meeting. If we have this motion, which is not directly relevant to the agenda of this meeting, I really don't agree. I don't agree that there is a grey area. It's not a matter of having a grey area or not. I agree with Assistant SG's comment. Well, Madam Chair, you already indicated that we're going to have two meetings before the 26th. So let's have the meeting on the 22nd. We can ask all the questions we like before submitting or tabling a motion. Let's not hurry ourselves to deal with this matter now. Mr. Ronnie Tong. Madam Chair, I think you've been very cautious. You've left the council for 4 years, so you're being extra cautious. But you need to understand the fact that this motion has no binding effect. So even if the motion is carried, it won't have dire consequences. Now, very often, such motions will be moved by members without notice, without being put on the agenda first. We have had a full discussion by now, and our positions are clear. Madam Chair, if you're all right with it, please proceed to voting. If, on the other hand, you are doubtful about it, there is no way we can persuade you. I think we're running out of time. The next meeting will be held soon. So let's see if we can extend this meeting a bit, or shall we wait, or what? All right, extending the meeting. Yes, SG. You have, Madam Chair, you have the power to extend the meeting by 15 minutes, subject to any objection from members present. All right, let's extend the meeting. All right, this is the situation facing me. Now, if I make a ruling requesting the government, let's talk about this motion first. Assistant Secretary General made a very important point just now. The fact is, this motion is not on the agenda. Of course, it's an important topic, but it's not on the agenda. So if I'm to make a ruling, I need to be careful. Mr. Tam Yu-chung says that there is no gray area, but Mr. Leung Yu-chung says otherwise, and this is the difficulty facing me. I'd like to ask Mr. Zhang if we deal with the motion only on the 22nd. Well, I hope my ruling will not upset either side. So I'm asking you, Mr. Zhang, if we deal with the motion on the 22nd, is it all right? I think that since I've been reminded by the Assistant Secretary General, I have the responsibility of chairing the meeting properly. I need to draw a line, and I mustn't step out of line. Mr. Leung Kwok-hong, you offered your views. All right, how about the meeting with the administration on the 22nd and meeting the deputations as soon as possible? There must be a reason behind the motion. Why is it not possible? Even if you ask Mr. Tam Yu-chung to read it out again, it's still reasonable. So the point is, we need to have a meeting as soon as possible with the administration, and also to meet with the deputations as soon as possible. Mr. Leung Yu-chung, please pause here, because from the point of view of the language, it's not on the agenda after all. So, Assistant Secretary General, can you further give your comment? Madam Chair, the Assistant Secretary General and the Secretariat can only offer views on the point of order. So may I ask members to refer to Rule 22P of the House Rules. The proposed motion should be related to an agenda item. So please allow me 2 minutes to discuss with the Secretariat.
All
right, members. Members, for the next meeting, please bear with me. Okay, Deputy Chairman has a suggestion. Deputy Chairman, please. All right, I don't know if we can have a middle of the road approach. I don't hear any objecting voices here. In fact, on the point of motions, well, the Secretary General mentioned the point directly related to an agenda item. So my suggestion is, in fact, we share the same views. We want to let the administration know that if you table the proposal, you will face difficulties. So you should go back and consider it. So it's just an expression of opinion. I don't know what members think. Mr. Eleanor, let me express my view on behalf of the Civic Party. Madam Chair, on behalf of the Civic Party, I can confirm that I agree with the content of the motion moved by Dr. Fernando Cheung. Let's not talk about additions and insertions. I understand your views. You're asking the administration to postpone the tabling of proposal on the 26th. I don't want us to be laughed at. All right, I can make mistakes, but I don't want to. I've returned after 4 years, and I've been a councillor for 13 years. If you agree with the Deputy Chairman, and I think that we should express our views, Dr. Fernando Cheung, to expedite matters, I think that you should be able to explain it, because there is an urgency here. We're talking about a schedule of meetings. If we wait till the 22nd, right, it may give the public a clearer idea, but if we don't do it by way of a motion moved by a member, and instead, Madam Chair, you express our view on our behalf to the administration, this will be also a feasible approach. So let me withdraw my motion. Let's wait till the 22nd. If on the 22nd the administration's position is the same, I will move this motion. All right, Deputy Chairman. Sorry, I think some may be concerned about it. Does it mean that the whole procedure will not be recorded? I believe that the Secretariat will have a record. Our discussion will be recorded. Well, we don't need a record. I will write a letter to the Secretary, to the administration, requesting them to postpone it. Point of order, Madam Chair. I want to clarify. You said there won't be any record. Does it mean that this is just a part about the motion? Right, definitely there will be minutes of the meeting. And apart from the minutes, I will write to the Secretary as well. If there are no other views, then that's our position for the time being, Assembly now. Well, please adjourn this meeting as soon as possible. The members for the next meeting are waiting. All right, so let's make a decision here, and thank you for your tolerance. Thank you.